In this video, I'm going to talk about what is meant by Vilomah and what it means to me. My name's Ghazala at the Heart and Soul Cafe. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back again. And if you're here for the first time, then pull up a chair, sit down and let's have a chat. So the word Vilomah comes from the ancient Sanskrit. It means against the natural order of things. Okay. If a lady loses her husband, she is a widow. If a man loses his wife, he is a widower. If a child loses its parents, it's an orphan. And if a parent loses its child, that parent is a Vilomah, because it's against the natural order of things. So I'm a Vilomah. So what does that mean to me? What does being a Vilomah mean to me? Well, I'm going to share a few examples of how it affects me, how I deal with things emotionally. Being a Vilomah for me is having the ability to go through grief, being on this road of bereavement, but also having the ability to experience joy and sorrow at the same time, to be able to laugh and cry at the same time. So let's give you some examples of how that happens with me and how that pans out. Well, first example is, let's say I'm at, and this has actually happened, I'm at a dinner date, I'm at a gathering, a social event, there's extended family and friends there. And, we're chatting. I have a lady sat next to me and we're talking and I'm socializing, chatting, laughing. And then all of a sudden, I see my son quite clearly. I can feel his presence. He's there in the room with us, throwing his head back and laughing and doing the things that he would normally be doing. And I feel the emotion, I feel the pain in my heart, I feel the longing in my heart, I feel the tears coming up into my eyes and my eyes welling up, and then I'm blinking and pushing the tears away, and then coming back amongst the living. And then I carry on talking. The lady who sat with me is talking about fashion, or she just came back from holiday, or she's talking about the latest recipe she tried, and I just get back into this conversation. And then we get asked to come and have some food, and they've got food laid out on the table and it all looks lovely with some lovely dishes. And I look at those dishes and I suddenly think about my son and what were his best dishes and how he would be filling up his plate. And then I look over at his friends and his cousins, and I find myself gazing at their faces and trying to find my son's face in theirs. And then realize that, that's somebody else's son. It's not my son. And then I carry on with them. Especially at family gatherings, this happens a lot, because that's when you miss that person so much more, because everyone else is there. Everyone is there with their sons and their children. And I'm blessed. I have 2 daughters, but and then another scenario is when I'm at work. I deliver mental health training at organisations. So I sometimes it's online and sometimes it's face to face. So I've gone to a venue and I've gone there and I'm setting up, and some of the delegates come in, and there's one gentleman that for some reason reminds me of my son. Either he's 6'2", same height as my son, not that I would know that he's 6'2", but he's tall, he's quite well built, and my son was also, or he had a beard, and my son had a beard, or there was something about him, his mannerism, that just reminded me of my son, and then I find myself almost gazing and looking for my son's face again in somebody else, and then again realize that that's someone else's son. It's not my son. And then I'll obviously just distract myself and sort out my PowerPoint or whatever, ready to deliver training. I might be out shopping and just see someone in the distance, and for some reason it's reminded me of him, of my son, and my face again. I'm trying to find his face in others, and then the tears come again, and you just push them back and you carry on with your tasks that you do, your daily tasks. In the house, if we're sat around the dining table, there's a chair where my son would be sitting, and you visualize, you imagine him to be there. When all the family's together, that's when you miss that person the most, because that's the only person that's not there with you. So again, it's very much about having those tears and allowing those tears. And obviously in the home, when that happens in the house, you allow yourself to get emotional, and you allow that to pass through you, so you don't suppress it so much as you would if you were at work or in a social situation. So being a Vilomah is a difficult thing. It's not easy, but it's being able to navigate things. I can compartmentalize things, and that's something else I do. I wear different hats, if you like. If I'm counselling, because I work as a befriender, counsellor, support, and I support women who have also experienced child loss. And if I've just finished a session and I have some notes in front of me, that I've been making, the process of putting those notes into a wallet and then putting that wallet into a file and then closing that file and then getting that file and putting it up on the shelf is almost me telling myself that I need to remove this counselling hat now and put it away until the next time I need it. And by doing that, I'm not carrying everything that I've just been listening to, what someone has been telling me, what this mother has been sharing with me. I'm not carrying it with me. I've sort of filed it for now, and I don't need to go there until the next time. Because if I didn't do that, if I didn't have the ability to do that, it'd be very difficult for me to carry the symptoms of grief myself and what I'm going through, and then also carrying what someone has just shared with me. So I've had to work at that, but it is working. I am able to do that. And obviously there's some times when someone shares something on how they might have lost their child, and it does affect you. Of course it affects you. You wouldn't be human if it didn't. Of course it affects you, but most of the time that works. Most of the time the process of filing things away helps, and that's how I get through that. And giving myself a break, allowing myself to cry, allowing myself to go through the motions, checking in on grief. Grief and I obviously are going to spend a long time together, the rest of my life. Grief is going to live with me and stick around a lot. So we have to sort of get on. We have to make our peace with each other. And the way I do that is I check in with grief. I give grief time. And the way I do that is I, in the morning, spend time in my son's bedroom. That is my new space where I work remotely from there, and his desk and his chair are a place where I work now. And allowing grief to, sitting with grief and making that assessment of how am I doing today, what's happening, where is sort of grief, like on a continuum, whereabouts is it? And if I need to give myself some attention or some TLC, let's say, then I need to sort of prioritize that, because if I don't prioritize it, it's going to be difficult and it's going to become problematic, because I'm then going to not be able to function, not be able to do the things I want to do. So that's important. So being a Vilomah to me is living my life and functioning to the best of my ability with the cards I have been dealt. And falling into certain roles where, I'm counselling women, I'm talking to, I'm delivering mental health, and it's made me more compassionate and it's made me more empathetic. I can connect. I feel as if I can connect with others better than I ever did before, and that's a blessing in itself. So it's given me so much, even though it's taken a part of me that's lost forever. That was sort of that I lost along with my son. But I suppose it's trying not to concentrate on what you've lost, but what you've gained, and that's really my sort of philosophy, to celebrate what I have now rather than what I have lost, and that is a way forward. That gives you your future, that gives you your hope, that gives you what you need to carry on. And without that, without hope, without being able to see any kind of future, it means that you're lost, and so it's difficult. So that's a little bit of what being a Vilomah means to me, and what kind of Vilomah I am. Please share in the comments. Please comment on what being a Vilomah means to you, or if you know someone close to you who is a Vilomah, how do they live their life, and how are they navigating through that? So, what kind of Vilomah are they? Please do share, subscribe, hit that notification button. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Ghazala at the Heart and Soul Cafe. Please come and see me next time. That'll be lovely. So thank you so much. I do absolutely appreciate it. Thank you.